A man stood on the edge of a diving board, high above the swimming pool. He wasn't afraid of swimming. He knew how to swim. He wasn't afraid of heights either. But something in him froze. Minutes passed. People climbed up, jumped, laughed, and left. But he stayed. Not because not because he couldn't jump, but because in that moment he could imagine everything that might go wrong. And that's what fear often is. Not reality, but imagination turned against us. So, what is this fear? Fear is one of the most intimate parts of being human. It's very ancient. It kept our ancestors alive when danger was real, immediate, and yeah, pretty much real. So, but today, those bushes have changed. Now, the fear shows up before conversations. It shows up before choices. It shows up before we try to become something. So, we fear rejections before speaking. We fear failure before trying. We fear loss before loving. And so, we hesitate at the edge of our own lives. Just like the man on the diving board, what's fascinating is that fear doesn't just protect us, it also shapes us. Every decision we make is either an expansion beyond fear or a contraction into it. What does this mean is that the career we don't pursue, the person we don't confess to, the truth we don't speak, fear quietly edits our life story. But here's the paradox, fear is not the enemy. Okay? If you look closely, fear is simply a signal. It points towards something that matters. We don't fear things that are irrelevant to us. We only fear things which are highly relevant to us. So we fear what has the power to change us. This is a very powerful statement that we fear what has power to change us. So maybe the goal isn't to eliminate the fear. That's impossible for anyone. Maybe the goal is to understand the fear, to sit with the fear. I heard a very good line which said that you have to do it scared. The fear will never go away, but what you do with the fear matters. Do you back off when there is fear, or do you continue pursuing what you're doing with the fear? Matters. That changes the outcome. So, yeah, you should sit with the fear instead of running away from it. You should sit with it. To ask it, what are you trying to protect? And gently decide, is this a protection still needed? So many times it happens that, especially people with anxiety, which I have a personal take on, our minds go on rumbling around, continuously overthinking about each and every scenario. So, in such cases, what happens is that we should just pause, listen to ourselves, and ask one question, that what are you protecting me from, and is it still necessary to protect me from that, and is the threat actually even there? So these things make a difference about fear. So courage isn't so what is courage? Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's the decision that something else is more important than the fear. Okay, so the man on the diving board eventually jumped, not because the fear disappeared, but because staying there became more painful than falling. So that is what we prioritize things. Do we have something which is more important than my fear? We prioritize and then we move ahead with our lives. So, and maybe that's how we move forward in our lives. Exactly. So, not by becoming fearless, but becoming honest about what we truly want and choosing it, even while our hands are trembling. So, that's what, you have to do it scared. That means, even when our hands are trembling, you have to go ahead in life. I myself have many personal experiences where I have dealt with that anxiety. So, yeah, that's what fear is, and it is a very important component of human life, I feel. So, because at the end, fear doesn't shrink our life, our response to it, the way we respond to fear, does. So, yeah, this is what I wanted to say. So, even though if you are fearful, be fearful, but do it scared.